Good. All right. Good afternoon and welcome back to the 2022 KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship here at Harbor Shores. We are very pleased to be joined by 2003 Masters champion Mike Weir. Mike, congrats on capping off a really strong season last year as a rookie on PGA Tour champions. This year, you maybe aren't matching that form, but it seems I feel like you're working toward that. What's the state of your game right now?
It feels very good. It's kind of been, a little stale start of the year, so to speak. Haven't got a lot going, and I think I've figured out a couple of the issues that have been holding me back, and so I'm excited about this week. It feels a lot better.
You're optimistic, your first tour around here at Harbor Shores, and maybe how that golf course fits in for a left-hander. We don't have a lot of them come through. Is there any difference out there for a lefty and a righty?
Well, it's tough to tell. I mean, the practice round's always been this northeast wind, and I think it's kind of changing today a little bit and going to change. So I don't know if it favors a lefty or if it's a disadvantage for a lefty, but I really like the course. I think it's definitely challenging around the greens, and it's a really fun layout with the wind being on the lake. I grew up on Lake Huron, so kind of similar bent grass conditions, and golf course not the same, but conditions of the types of grass around the greens and on the greens and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm very optimistic about this week, and hopefully we can get up to a good start this week.
How's the putting stroke yours? How's that feeling this year?
It's feeling really good right now. I mean, that's been a bit of my issue. So I put a lot of work in here the last couple of weeks to get that sorted, and it feels like it's feeling a lot more comfortable. So you never know in this game, but I hope to putt a little better this week.
Well, that's good to hear. We're looking forward to watching. Let's go back to last year for a moment. You were in a great perch there, 36-hole leader, I think by 3 or 4 strokes, and didn't come to pass. What did you enjoy about your first senior PGA Championship last year, and the way Kerry Haigh lays out the golf course, and just what recollect back to last year a little bit?
Yeah, it was very fun. I really enjoyed Southern Hills. I enjoyed the layout that Kerry set up. I thought it was very fair but very challenging for us guys who, we didn't play it the same as the guys had last week,
right.
Especially on some of the par threes. But it was still very challenging. And, I was right in the mix and let a few things slip away a little bit that was disappointing. But all in all, the first time around there was good, and hopefully build on that this year and this week.
This is you're on the verge of the 20th anniversary of your win here. At Augusta. It's hard to believe it's been a couple decades, and just what that moment in time meant for a career going forward.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to believe that coming up on that next year. It doesn't feel that long, but it is, and I guess that moment in time was very special for me. When I talked to different Canadians, it was very special for a lot of people.
Sure it was.
They tell me it was one of those moments where they remember where they were when that happened. So that's always fun to hear those stories. And anytime I go back up, be playing the Canadian Open here in a couple weeks, and that's always great to get the home crowd fans behind you. And they've been with me for a long time and supported me for a long time. So it's been really special to represent not myself but the country as well.
I don't think it's any coincidence that there's been a little bit of a resurgence of Canadian golf in the last few years, and it comes almost 20 years after your victory. Some of those kids who are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and their parents pointed to you in your victory that week, and and then you prorated forward, and they've kind of rose to prominence. Corey Connors, Mackenzie. Do you take some pride in that? I think that's real.
Yeah, I mean, it gets brought to my attention a lot, and I do take pride in it. I think they put their own work in, but if I inspired those young guys and inspire the young girls to believe that they can achieve, if they're from a small town in Canada, that they can reach their dreams. I said that in my acceptance speech that night. That was the goal of mine when I won there in 2003. I said, if this can inspire the next generation, that would be great for me. So hopefully it has.
I think it has. Last question from me, and then we're going to come over here. But in the year you're leading into to joining this tour, you're 49 years old. The last, let's say, year, 18 months, you're not playing as much on the regular tour. What did you find in your game that Did you find anything new in your game that allowed you to thrive last year as you did? That's a time for tinkering and preparing, isn't it?
It is, and it was important. I did play. I played some. I didn't play a ton, but I did play some on the Corn Ferry Tour. And even though I didn't have great success, it was important to play. And when you play a few weeks in a row, you kind of figure things out. And there was a number of years there that I'd play 1 week and have a month off, and it's hard to build any competitive momentum. You know, a lot of the times that I had success on tour in my regular days where I may have missed the cut, but like 2 or 3 weeks later, after playing consecutive weeks, you get that competitive flow, you tinker, you figure things out, and you have another week to play, where when you don't have status and you just kind of get in, and you may be playing pretty well, but you might miss a cut, and you don't have anything for a month to kind of keep that momentum. So that was nice for me in those couple years leading up to the Champions Tour, that I got that competitive momentum again, and that helped me a lot last year.
This is a talented tour. I mean, is it not? I mean, you're a part of the newer batch of talents, but there's still some good golf going on out here.
Oh, very good golf. I tell people all the time, the skill level's very, very, very high level, very comparable to the regular tour on all the skill shots. I mean, distance, the power is the big difference. But outside of that, I mean, I'd put Steve Stricker's wedge game against anybody in the world, or Bernard Langer putting against anybody in the world. You know, and you know, I think that's the big difference, is the power, but it's still very competitive out here. You have to play very well. You have to get off the fast starts. We have a 4-day event this week, but you know, in some of the 3-day events, if you shoot 1 or 2 under, you're playing big time catch up, and likely not going to be able to have enough time to catch up. So that's a bit of change of strategy too. So super competitive out there, and it's really fun.
Okay, we're gonna go to my left here, and I'm gonna bring it home.
Hey, just wanted to go back a little bit to the course. Jack Nicklaus design. Just talk about what that throws at you. Obviously, he's got a unique style.
Yes.
Doesn't usually trick things up, but still, his courses are challenging.
Yes, it's challenging. It's visually challenging on some tee shots to pick a line, holes doglegging around water and severe bunkers, and picking a line in the distance to commit to is sometimes tough in crosswinds. You know, a lot of the winds blowing across some of these fairways. So that's challenging. And then being on the right spot on the green, I think, to your point, you know, very challenging greens to put the ball in the right spot of the hole, the right section is key to good scoring out here. And I think you see the guys that have shot some really low numbers out here and really good scores. They're putting the ball in the right spots, put on the right section. Otherwise, you're playing defense all the time. So that's a sign of a good golf course, I think.
You get to play alongside PGA professionals this week. Talk about what that's like. Very unique.
Yes.
Some of the guys earlier today said that it might be a bigger deal for them, but just talk about what that's like, and you know, what the conversations are like.
Well, yeah, it's great. I mean, a lot of my really good friends are PGA Club pros, and you know, I know the hard work they put in, and then for them to find time for their own games, to put time into their own games to try to get here, is a big challenge for a lot of them in club golf. You know, they got big responsibilities at their home clubs, so it's great to celebrate them, have them here, have them competing, and they're, you know, a lot of really good players too. So, you know, so you'll see a couple of guys, if not more, in the mix. And hope that they're in the mix, and so it's great. It's great to have the interaction between us and the PGA pros.
How important is it to have KitchenAid as a sponsor, but also support of the Benton Harbor community for a big event like this?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, they've been, you know, this is my second year. They do such a wonderful job. You know, starting Southern Hills for me last year, I saw the great job that KitchenAid does with the tournament. All the volunteers. It seems like the community here in Benton Harbor really gets behind it. All the volunteers, people, the signage up around the town. It's wonderful. I think it's great for this town. You know, I played the Western Amateur when I was an amateur here years ago in the area, and haven't been back in a while. And being from close to the border of Michigan, you know, I know Michigan golf pretty well, and it's great to have an event here.
Cool. And then last question I have for you. The Alfred S. Bourne Trophy, big trophy. I'm sure you've seen it.
I saw it inside, yeah.
Yeah, just talk about how cool that trophy is. Everybody thinks that, you know, some of the other trophies are big, but at 36 pounds, it's one of the biggest ones in golf.
Yeah, it's like the Stanley Cup of golf, Champions Tour golf. So, yeah, looking at it's great. I didn't want to touch it. I got the hockey superstition. I didn't want to touch it, but yeah, beautiful trophy. One of the best trophies that we're playing for right here.
Good.
Mike, thanks for the
Thanks.
time as always. Best of luck this week, and stop back in here. Put up a good
hopefully,
number, and we'd love
hopefully
to
I am.
talk.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.